And hi, everybody. John Kearns in today, sitting in for John Cullen as we have another of our high school football coaches shows here from Frickers. We're getting ready for week number 5 of the season. Hard to believe. Seemed like we just began week number 1, but here we are after tomorrow night, or actually after Friday night coming up. We'll be halfway done through the regular season. So we have some coaches on tonight. Our first one will be at about 7:15, Josh Waring from St. Joe's Central Catholic will join us for a while. And then Ryan Carter and his players will celebrate Clyde Fliers night tonight. They'll go from 7:30 until 8 o'clock. And then we'll have Chad Long, the Fremont Ross head coach, from 8 to 8:15. And we'll wrap it up around 8:15 of this evening. So, once again, Clyde Fliers night here at Frickers. Just a reminder that next Wednesday, September 20th, Tim Bulwer will be back with you, and it'll be St. Joe's Central Catholic night. And then in 2 weeks, we got John Cullen scheduled to be the host, and it'll be Gibsonburg Golden Bear night. And I know they always bring a big crowd for that. So make sure you stop out to Frickers. They always have great specials and a lot of fun here in Fremont at the Frickers. Well, here's our BAS Sports Network football schedule for this coming weekend. On Friday night, we have 5 games for you. Findlay is at Fremont Ross, a big rivalry game. And Findlay will play at Fremont Ross for the second straight year. Last year, they won in the final seconds. Kind of a controversial play, but it stood. I think it was 50-48, so tough loss for Fremont on that one. They'll try to get some revenge on Friday night when they take on Findlay again at home. That'll be right here on Eagle 99 WFRO. The pregame show at 6:30, and the kickoff is at 7. And then on 92.1 The Wolf WOHF, it's Clyde at Port Clinton, and Kyle Knight will have that game along with Mike Martin and Jim Kettner. Should be an interesting game. The Flyers play at Port Clinton. Of course, we'll talk all about that game here coming up with Coach Carter and the players. On WTTF, AM 1600 and FM 93.3, our Tiffin affiliate, it'll be the Huron Tigers at Tiffin Columbian. I know Tiffin Columbian lost their first game of the year last week against Bishop Watterson down in Columbus. That was a team I think they beat last year, but couldn't beat them down in Columbus this year. On WLEC 1450 AM and also 93.5 FM, it'll be Sebring McKinley plays at Sandusky St. Mary's Central Catholic, again on WLEC. And our Coast Country game, that's WMJK 100.9. It'll be Bellevue at Perkins. Big ball game in the SBC on Coast Country. So those are our high school games on Friday night. On Saturday, here's what we have. Tiffin University plays at Northwood. That's on Coast Country, WMJK, 12:30 pregame. 1 o'clock kickoff for that one as Tiffin University will play. And then in the evening, we will have Gibsonburg at Tiffin Calvert, high school game on WTTF, AM 1600, FM 93.3. Pregame show at 6:30 and the kickoff at 7. And I believe that Tim Bulwer is subbing in for that one, so he'll bring you the play-by-play for that game. And then BGSU, I know Nick over here is going to be looking forward to this one, a BG guy. They play at Michigan at the Big House on Saturday night. 6:30 pregame and 7:30 kickoff on Eagle 99. If you can't make to the game or can't watch it on TV, tune to Eagle 99. We'll have all the play-by-play with Todd Walker and John Gibson. Eagle 99, 6:30 pregame, 7:30 it'll be BG at Michigan. And we forgot to tell you about Ohio State. They play at home again this week. They play Western Kentucky at home Saturday afternoon. Kickoff at 4 o'clock. Pregame show at 2:30. And that'll be on 92.1 The Wolf, WOHF, and also on WLEC, 1450 AM and 93.5. And you can hear all those games live streaming as well, just by going to the websites and clicking on the Listen Live icon. And Nick also interested in this one too, right, Nick? Monday night, the Browns and the Steelers. There's an opportunity for the Browns. You know, they started out well. They had a big victory over the Cincinnati Bengals, and the Steelers lost big. So let's see if that continues. It'd be nice. It's been a long time since the Browns beat Pittsburgh at Pittsburgh, although was that just a couple years ago in the playoffs? Did they do that? Okay. All right, so let's see if they can do it again here. All right, now, that game will kick off at 8:15 Monday night. Pregame show on WMJK Coast Country is 2 hours before that at 6:15. All right. A couple other reminders, programming notes. Tomorrow night on our sister station, WOHF 92.1 The Wolf, the Ryan Day Show. Of course, he's the head coach of the Ohio State Buckeyes. That'll be a show from 7 till 8 p.m. Don't forget the classic songs on The Wolf, Saturday mornings from 8 to 10. And Sundays, Casey Kasem's AT American Top 40 from 8 p.m. to 12 midnight every Sunday night right here on Eagle 99. And then on Mondays, you can listen in to the BGSU Falcons Nest Radio Coaches Show from 6 to 7 p.m. That's live from the Bowling Green Frickers with Todd Walker. And he not only talks football, but he talks fall sports as well. So that's Monday night coming up here on Eagle 99. All right, let's go over some other information about high school football. In the Northern Lakes League, there's 2 divisions, so you have to get used to this, Fremont fans, because it's a new league, a new year. There's 11 teams. There's 6 teams in the Buckeye division and 5 teams in the Cardinal division. Pearisburg is 4-0, Anthony Wayne 3-1, Findlay 3-1, Springfield 2-2, Whitmer 2-2, and Sylvania Northview 1-3. So no one has played any conference or division games yet. In the Cardinal division, Bowling Green is actually 3-1, Oregon Clay 2-2, Sylvania Southview is 2-2 on the year, Fremont Ross 1-3, and Napoleon is 0-4. Okay. Let's get to the Sandusky Bay Conference standings. Here's a record so far in the Sandusky Bay Conference River Division, the smaller schools. Calvert is 4-0 along with Hopewell Loudon. And boy, that's going to be great later in the year. Calvert and Hopewell Loudon playing a big game for probably the division championship. Willard is 3-1, Lakota 2-2, Margaretta 2-2, Gibsonburg is 1-3, Woodmore 1-3, and St. Joe Central Catholic on the year is 0-4. Sandusky Bay Conference Bay Division record so far. Edison is 3-0 on the year. Bellevue is 3-1. Huron 3-1. Vermilion 3-1, and Port Clinton 2-2. So all the teams in that division of Bay, no losing records so far. Everybody is at least 500 on the year. And the bigger schools, the SBC Lake Division, Perkins is 4-0, Clyde 3-1, Columbian 3-1, Norwalk 2-2, and Sandusky 2-2. So that's the same thing. Nobody with a losing record in either of the Bay or the Lake divisions. And finally, we'll touch upon the Northern Buckeye Conference. A few new teams in the NBC this year, especially we talk about the Oak Harbor Rockets, because Oak Harbor, a longtime member of the SBC, but now in the Northern Buckeye Conference. They are 4-0 on the year overall, 1-0 in the NBC. Eastwood's 3-1 and 1-0. Genoa 3-1, 1-0. And Otsego, another 1-3 and 1-0 in the conference. Other records, these teams are all 0-1 so far in conference play. Maumee, Fostoria, Lake, and Rossford. Maumee 2-2, and the other 3 are 1-3 on the year. So Elmwood leaves the Northern Buckeye Conference, goes over to the Blanchard Valley Conference, and they were replaced in there by Maumee, and Oak Harbor is in there as well. So Oak Harbor, Eastwood, Genoa, Otsego, Maumee, Fostoria, Lake, and Rossford, those are the teams in the Northern Buckeye Conference. All right, let's go over this week's schedule. First of all, in the Northern Lakes League, it's Findlay at Fremont Ross. Findlay 3-1, Ross 1-3. Bowling Green plays at Sylvania Northview. Bowling Green 3-1, Sylvania Northview 1-3. Napoleon plays at Springfield. 0-4 for Napoleon, 2-2 for Springfield. Pearisburg's undefeated. They play at Clay. They're 2-2. Toledo Start out of league plays at Anthony Wayne. Start 1-3, Anthony Wayne 3-1. and Whitmer is at Sylvania Southview. Both teams are 2-2. So those are the games Friday in the Northern Lakes League. Sandusky Bay Conference. Here is the schedule here in no particular order. Bellevue at Perkins. Clyde is at Port Clinton. Huron plays at Tiffin Columbian. Margaretta is at Woodmore. Norwalk at Edison. St. Joe Central Catholic is at Willard. Sandusky at Vermilion. Hopewell Loudon at Lakota. And Gibsonburg plays at Calvert. Now that Calvert-Gibsonburg game will be Saturday. All the other games will be on Friday. And then in the Northern Buckeye Conference, the games on Friday night, Eastwood plays at Maumee. Genoa is at Lake. Oak Harbor at Rossford. And Otsego at Fostoria. All right, so that takes a look at what we have here as far as information as we get ready for our first coach, who will be Josh Waring, the head coach at St. Joe Central Catholic. He'll be our first coach coming up in just a few minutes from right now. So time to come out to Frickers. They have a steak special every Wednesday night. Nick, what's that steak special? Is it like $7.99 maybe? I think it's $7.99, and get a nice steak with a side dish and a roll and butter. So it's a good deal. Come on out and maybe get that, or get some nice wings, either boneless wings or traditional wings, or some chicken chunks. But it doesn't stop there, because, as Nick knows, their menu is big, and they got lots and lots and lots of things to eat here. So one of our favorite places to have lunch or dinner, Frickers here in Fremont. We'd like to thank them very much for being a big part of our coaches show here every week. Not only for football, we have it on Wednesday nights in football season, but and starting December, we're going to have the high school basketball coaches show, which is 1 hour, and that's on Monday nights. So it'll be from 7 to 8 on Monday nights during the basketball season. And believe it or not, we're thinking about basketball. I'm starting to put schedules together for everything high school, boys and girls. We have Ohio State basketball on the Wolf, Bowling Green basketball on the Eagle, and we have various shows and different special things. So we're getting ready. I know it's still into September, but a few more weeks, it'll be October. And I know the season starts for many basketball teams in November. Okay, we're going to take a timeout. When we come back, we'll get with Josh Waring, the head coach of St. Joe Central Catholic, and we'll get with him next here at Frickers on the High School Football Coaches Show right here on Eagle 99.
I
Usually, so
understand. Yep.
no matter what team is here, he'll take a shirt off or put another hat on and all that. So right now he's got his SJCC, I like that, and so he's got his Ohio State shirt on and the Clyde shirt. So
Yeah, he's a front runner. If you ever noticed, the teams that are doing well, he always wears their shirts. And used to be Tigers, and then
that's
be
all right,
Indians.
Shay.
And,
You can be a front runner.
but
That's
it's
okay.
good. It's all right.
As long as they're local, right? All right, so Josh Waring, our guest here, St. Joe grad, and works for the city of Fremont. First year as the head coach of the Crimson Streaks. And we'll talk about different things here. I know not the scores you want to see, but got to start making some progress. And I'm sure it starts with, how many seniors do you have on the team? And you may have been asked this question before, but, here's my first time this year hosting a show. So
Yeah, we have 5 seniors,
okay.
and some of them have not played well, at least one of them has not played extensively. So we've got 5. We've got 5 seniors.
Okay, and are they good leaders? I know seniors tend to be.
Yeah, they are. 2 of our seniors are captains, Nick Anderson and Luke Danke. You got to keep a positive mindset, and you got to keep the energy up, no matter what no matter what adversity you're facing.
Sure.
And they've done a great job. It's been great all year.
Sometimes I've had coaches tell me that their seniors, maybe not every senior, but some of the seniors almost act like assistant coaches on the field, and to help out. And sometimes you need that. Maybe sometimes you don't want that. But anyway, do you have a couple guys that really pitch in and because coaches can't be on the field, in the huddle, so you got to have leadership, on the football field.
Well, really, we have 3 captains, and Matthew Connell is a junior. He's our other captain, and he's really our defensive captain. He's an inside linebacker for us, and he makes sure that everybody's aligned properly, and everybody is in the right spot, and they know their assignment. So, and on offense, it's Nick Anderson. He's our quarterback, and he will move guys back and forth when they get a little confused or basically just forget where they're supposed to be. He will put them in the right position. So, yeah, our leadership's been really good.
Yeah, especially with the freshmen and sophomores that may play. It's tough going from 8th grade football or junior high football to varsity. In 1 year, it's a whole different animal. I mean, everybody says it's the speed of the game really. It's faster.
Well, we're finding that out. I mean, and we knew this. We're going to have to put some younger guys on the field, and they're seeing what it takes. They're seeing the speed of the game. They're seeing what it takes and how hard people hit and how physical the game really is. And at any point in time, we'll have between sophomores and freshmen 6 players on the field, offense and defense.
Right.
So it's a learning curve. It's an eye opener for them. But just think of the experience they're getting. I mean, they really are. They're getting a lot of experience, and some of them are starting to see the light, if you will, and the bulb's starting to turn on for them. And I'm very excited about the future as well.
Well, the thing is, I've had coaches say, well, yeah, they started the first game as a freshman, but they played so much that by the middle of the season, maybe they're almost a sophomore.
Well,
Yeah.
Sure. If you look at game experience, I mean, we have sophomores that have started for 2 years now. So, I mean, and they still have 2 more years to go. So, I really think, looking forward, that's only going to benefit us. They're taking their lumps now, and there's no doubt about that. But I really think it will build to something, better in the future for the program.
Okay, we talked about the players, your young guys and your senior leadership. But how about, I'm not sure if you talked too much about your assistant coaches. How many assistant coaches do you have on the staff? And I know some of you guys probably have a lot of experience, right?
They do. I have Coach Asasi, Coach Israel Asasi. He's been with the program for decades, let's say. And so he brings a lot of experience. He coaches our offensive, defensive line. And I have Coach Dan Huffman. He coached back in the 80s with Coach Narducci.
Yeah.
Now he's been back the last 2 years as part of the program, and he's our quarterback coach. So he's got a lot of insight and a lot of experience. And Mr. Rick, Coach Gamble, he's been coaching forever as well. So we do have, I've got 3 assistant coaches. we all have our roles to play. They all know their assignments and what they're supposed to do, and everything's working out pretty well.
All right, very good. How about student staff? I like to recognize the student managers, the trainers, and anybody that volunteers. Even the marching band that's in there as part of part of the program, really.
Correct. I wish we had a trainer or like a student trainer, but unfortunately we have a player that's basically my go-to guy when it comes to the scout team and holding the the plays and things like that, and that's Mr. Tooman. And he was injured for basically his first practice back, and he broke his collarbone, and so he's out for the season basically. So he's been my right-hand guy, and he's done a very good job for us. And he's always at practice; he doesn't miss. He's absorbing. He's a smart kid, and he's absorbing everything, and he's helping out quite a bit.
That's the thing, you get injured and it's a tough break and you get, down, but, you want to contribute in whatever way you can.
Yeah.
And that's what he's doing.
Yeah, he's doing a great job for us. Like I said, I mean, if I need a ball, if I need so I have to, when we run team defense, we have 11 guys out there, on the field, our starting defense, and we don't have enough players to have a full scout team. So I will throw it around at times. So, but he's always there holding on to, the plays and that I call in the huddle and for the guys. So, yeah, I mean, we do have, and whenever anyone else is injured, we have one player, Aaron Hicks, is a senior. He's coming off concussion protocol, and he's helping out quite a bit as well. Now he won't be able to be live this week, but he's on his way back for next week.
I looked at your schedule before the season. You have 4 of the first 5 games on the road, including
Correct.
4 in a row. So you have your last of 4 on the road at Willard this Friday night. The good news is in the second half of the season, you got 4 out of 5 at home.
Correct.
And so that's good. But, going to some of these schools, you had to go to Buckeye Central, South Central, Margaretta. Not that they're long trips, but it's always better to be home. And then you got another one, over at Willard. And they're probably the largest school in the River Division, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they
they definitely are. They're Division 5.
Yep.
And they're definitely the biggest school.
And throughout the years they've kind of had a mixture of success and and some down years at Willard in football. I know they're at one time a basketball school, but
Yep.
they've been turning on pretty good the last few years in football, and this year they got off to a good start. They're 3-1.
They are. They are. And we talk about Willard a little bit. They, if you look at some of their numbers, they don't jump out at you, but what they want to do is throw the ball. I mean, they're 5 wide, or 5-4 wide at any time, and their philosophy is we're just going to outscore you, and that's it. And defensively, they're pretty predictable what they do, and they just want to outscore you. And, offense definitely is what they want to be known for.
Okay, since the beginning of camp or maybe the first game, how has your defense progressed? Have they progressed a little bit enough where I know you've given up a lot of points?
Yes.
But the little factors that you don't see, with the score on your defense.
They, being in the right place and using proper technique is getting better. It's a physicality issue. That's where what it comes down to, especially when we have so many freshmen and sophomores out on the field. You run into, I've got a bigger, stronger junior, senior against me. And are they getting better in terms of execution of the defense? Yes. In terms of, I don't know how to, especially as young as they are, to get the physicality part, we're getting better, but it's still a long road to go.
And and it's tough when you might have the opposing team has a 6'3" receiver and you have a 5'9" defensive back. It just it's a tough one there. Even if your guy is really athletic.
Correct.
Yeah, so.
And we will see that this week. And they have a receiver, Cam Robinson, who's caught 36 passes for 482 yards, 4 touchdowns.
4 games.
Yeah, and he's a bigger kid too, and he's going to be a matchup problem for us. We do have one junior that plays corner for us, Oliver Wright, who's true 6'3", maybe 160 pounds, but he gives us height on the outside, and he plays receiver for us as well. So we're able to negate some of that size differential that we have with Oliver.
Okay, getting ready for the Willard game on Friday night over at Willard. Fourth straight week on the road,
Yep.
but back home with Calvert, and we'll talk about that later. You're not worried about Calvert right now, but it's been tough so far. But kids are pretty resilient. I've kind of noticed that over the years, and when things are kind of down, have your players responded in practice and had good positive practices?
Yeah, even this afternoon we had a great practice. Had an offensive practice, and I just want everybody to give me what you got. You can't ask for anything more from a player but to give you 100% at all times. And today was a very good example of that. We had a great practice. We were sharp. We were quick. And that's all I can ask. And, the attitude's been really good. I mean, like I said, the leadership is not allowed, based on our record and some of the scores we've had, it could be really easy to take a nosedive. And we're fighting against that. And our senior leadership and our junior leadership as well. There's leaders in every class on our team, and which is refreshing and very great thing to see.
All right, very good. So we'll let you go. Thanks for coming in. I do appreciate it. So we'll have Tim talk to you again next week. But
sounds real good. I appreciate it, sir.
Have a good game on Friday night, and let's go get them. And best of luck. Thank you.
I appreciate it. We'll do our best.
All right, very good.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, Josh Waring, first-year head coach at St. Joe Central Catholic here in Fremont. Team gets ready to play the Willard Crimson Flashes on Friday night. All right, we're going to take a timeout. We'll get ready for the Clyde Flyers. It's Clyde Flyers night. We'll talk with Coach Ryan Carter first, and then we'll get to some players. But we're going to take a break right now here on Eagle 99 WFRO. We'll be back in 2 minutes. $7.99. Get a steak, side dish, rolling butter, and your favorite beverage is on you. So looking forward to that. Great food here at Frickers. We like to thank them for being part of this. I was telling Nick, our new guy, that they've been sponsoring this show for, I'm saying, going on 10 years.
Yeah, it's been a while since I have became the head coach at Clyde in 2013. I've been coming over here for the coaches show, so it's at least been that long.
Yeah, and good partners, and so we look forward to being here for a long time. So Ryan Carter, our coach. It's Clyde Flyers night. We'll start with Coach Carter, and then we'll get to some of the players in a little bit. Let's talk about last week. When you if you know the history of Ohio high school football, there's schools that kind of pop out, and Clyde's one of them, but in the bigger cities. But Youngstown Cardinal Mooney, you mentioned that name, you kind of automatically think football.
Yep.
They've always had a powerhouse, like Steubenville in that area and all that. Well, you had a chance to play them here recently, and I think months ago, now correct me if I'm wrong, they kind of wanted to have it their place, right? And somehow some negotiations, you got it into a neutral site at Ashland, right?
Yeah, and it worked out. It worked out great to go to Ashland and play at that neutral site game. And Ashland did such a great job of hosting, and to put our kids in that college atmosphere was a really unique opportunity. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say it wasn't the high school stadium; it was Ashland University, right?
Yeah, it was Ashland University, and
Yeah.
it was a great atmosphere, and I thought we brought a good crowd, and things worked out great. Ashland University did a great job of hosting, and we couldn't have been happier with the venue.
Is that a one-year deal with Mooney?
Yeah, it was a one-year deal. We have Week 4 open again next year, so we're trying to piece together a game even currently. So we don't exactly have one yet, but we're still working on it.
All right, 36-26 in the short end, but I was checking the game out. The score in the fourth quarter was, I think, 28-26, right?
Yeah, we had 3 times we had 2-point conversions to tie it, and we just couldn't get over the hump and get it tied. I felt like if we had got it tied, we could have put some more pressure on them, and they were huge up front and really wore us down at the end. And got their 2-point conversion to make it a 10-point game at the end of the game instead of an 8. So I was proud of our kids' effort. We absolutely battled the entire night. They had their offensive and defensive linemen just went one way. We have a lot of two-way guys, so they could kind of stay fresh the entire night. But our kids did not use that as an excuse. They battled the entire night and gave ourselves an opportunity to win in the fourth quarter, and that's all I asked for them. Coming in.
Of course, you really wanted to win that ball game. It had been a big win, but what did you pick up from playing, a big name team like that?
We were fine with, playing them, and we knew that it was going to take a great effort to win that football game, and even coming up short at the end of the game, we were like, hey, we played well. It was a playoff type atmosphere, playing against a great opponent. It's going to make us a better football team going forward. Now on the flip side, you play in a tough physical game like that. We had some injuries in that game that are going to hurt us down the road, but that's part of high school football. You next man up. We've worked on that this week. Got some guys slid in there in some different positions, and we're going to work on it going forward, playing against Port Clinton.
Yeah, you go into SBC play. Of course, it's a cross division game with Port Clinton, but you look at the schedule coming up, there's no breaks at all. There never is in the SBC, but you look at Port Clinton and Perkins and Columbian and Sandusky, Huron, and Norwalk right down the line. Yeah. So, you just got to tough it out and play 1 week at a time, and, you're going to have somebody big every week.
Yeah, in this week, it starts this week with us. This run from here on out is huge for us. Starting with Port Clinton, it's a familiar foe for me. Playing in that old SBC, coaching and playing against Port Clinton year after year. It's been a tough place for us to go play over at Port Clinton. We've struggled over there. So I'm looking forward to getting back over there and playing those old SBC schools with them and Huron at the end of our schedule. They are a tough, hard-nosed team. They play in the SBC just like we do, and they're going to come out and play hard, tough-nosed football, and it's going to be a battle, and we're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to traveling over to Port Clinton and getting some of those rivalries that we used to have in the SBC with Clyde back on the schedule a little bit.
Well, the Redskins started out the year with 2 wins against Waite and Rossford. Then they played 2 really, really good teams. Carver Rockets, in a new league this year, but they're pretty loaded. And then Liberty Benton, which is always, a powerhouse in the Blanchard Valley Conference.
Yep. Yeah, and you're right. We watched film on both those games, and they've played well all year. They've gotten beat soundly in the last 2 weeks against Liberty Benton and Oak Harbor, but both those football teams are quality football teams, high end. So we know we're going to have our work cut out for us. We're on the road. They're going to be hungry for a win just like we are, and it should be a good ball game.
Myself personally, I don't know too much. Of course, I'm not in the loop like I used to be, but Coach Eric Luthoid, I don't know too much about him. So how many years now at Port Clinton?
I think this is year 2 or year 3 at Port Clinton since Coach Carmen has given it up. And, Coach comes to the SBC from that WBL down there at Wapakoneta, St. Mary's type area, and he coached in that area. I don't know exactly where, but that's really good football down there. You're talking about some of the better football in the state of Ohio. So we know that he's going to be ready to go, and he's going to have his kids ready to go, and we're just going to have to, go up to Port Clinton and try to adjust from last week's loss and get after him next week.
Yeah, going back to that, the Western Buckeye League and I think the MAC 8, look every year they always have state champions,
yeah.
don't they?
You look every year they're putting somebody in the state finals just about every year. So it's good football. He comes from a very good league and a good pedigree, and we know they're going to play well. Just by watching them on film, you can tell they're organized and they know what they're doing.
Okay, let's go over your offense. Some of your players that you've been really pleased with this year. We'll start with maybe the skill players in
sure.
offense.
Well, I got some of the guys we got with us tonight. We'll talk about them. I got Chancey Miracle, who's our tailback, played last year for us. Has did a nice job this year running the football. We've mixed in some different runners. So I have Clark Norman, who's also a running back for us, plays middle linebacker for us as well. And both those guys have did a really good job running the football, and you get to talk to both those guys this week. And I have Colbin Daniel, who's one of our big guys up front on offense and defense. Does a great job on the offensive and defensive line. And then Blake Hershey, who has been a 2-year starter for us, as Colbin has, playing offensive and defensive line. Blake has really moved around this year and helped us out at center, at guard, at tackle, and then he's a mainstay on the defensive line as well. So excited for you to talk to those 4 captains, and they're excited to be on the radio and kind of get their feet wet with live broadcasts. So excited to hear those guys talk.
Well, as I can remember, all the Clyde guys did a fine job to go in the air, polite, and I always ask them, just don't say yes or no.
Yeah.
Complete the sentence, but I'll do a good job. And
John, with talking nowadays, kids don't do that anymore. They're on their phones or sending messages or TikTok. So it's good to get them out and have them personally talk and get from behind the screen and have to answer some questions. I'm sure they're nervous. I'm sure they're over there discussing who gets to go first, second, and third right now. But we'll get them out here and we'll get them used to it.
Okay, you just talked about the offense. How about a little bit about your defense?
Yeah, same thing. We have a new defensive coordinator this year, and Jake Jenny, who I feel like has just did a phenomenal job. Dave Marty's been our defensive coordinator for years. He is still on staff, still helping us out. But Jake has really taken the reins, and we're doing some different schemes this year. And our defense has played well, even in that Cardinal Mooney game. Giving up the points that we gave up. I thought we battled. I thought we got after them on both sides of the ball, and it'll be a test from here on out. We play some very good offenses from here on out, but I've been super pleased with our defense from the up front guys all the way to the back end guys. So we got a couple of different guys in the back end now due to injuries. So we got some different guys back there, but we feel like those guys are ready to step in and play some good football for us.
And of course, always important is special teams. You're not only your place kicker or your punter, but you always have to remember the long snappers and the holders too.
Yeah, all that stuff's ultra important. You can win and lose football games from a short snap or a long snap. We've been very sound, knock on wood, in that category this year. We gave up a few kick returns to Youngstown Cardinal Mooney this past week, but our kickers have did a nice job. We did a good job punting the football. And like you said, snap and holding and coverage are all big as well. So I've been extremely pleased. We had a lot of young kids that have stepped in and played significant roles for us, and our older guys have did a good job of leading. So excited to see what some of our new guys this week that are going to have to step in there and play a little bit more significant of a role. But we're going to have our old guys lead and see where we can go from here.
Yeah, Clyde, especially since you've been at the helm, have always had very solid special teams, good kickers, going back to Austin Baker, who I still see once in a while, and Austin was a quarterback, right? But your kicker too, and did some kicking at Heidelberg, and I think he set a record for a punt, and all that. So
I tell you
Yeah.
what, we date ourselves back a little bit here before I coached, but Jerry Phillips was one of the guys that really
Yeah.
got us going as a, kind of a kicking school where we had a good run of kickers coming
Right.
through, and I'm so fortunate to have Jerry on my staff as our kicking coach.
That's right.
He works with our kickers and our snappers and our holders, just on that whole dynamic of special teams, along with Matt Flewelling, who's been our special teams coordinator since I've been the head coach. But Jerry just, a lot of high schools aren't fortunate enough to have just a kicking coach, a guy that just works with the kickers. It's usually a special teams guy that just kind of does kicking on the side. But we are fortunate to have Jerry and, him working with our kickers individually every single day makes a difference for us.
Yeah, there's schools out there that just don't have a kicker really, and they'll have to go for two every time.
Yeah.
They just don't kick the extra points.
No, and we've ran into a lot of those schools, and we're fortunate in the fact that we've been pretty consistent in those categories. Cardinal Mooney did block a field goal on our first drive this past week, which kind of put us behind the sticks all night, trying to have to go for two all the time. But hopefully we can get that corrected and go into this week and get a few of those through.
Yeah, looking ahead, I know we start SBC play, this week, and boy, what a league. I mean, even Vermilion's come up and won 3 of their first 4.
I tell you what, we played their JVs this week. It's the first time we've been able to play their program in a while, and I was ultra impressed with what they're doing. Their kids are playing hard. They're doing things the right way. But you're right. I mean, our league year in, year out has good football top to bottom, and you have to show up every single night in order to get yourself a win.
No doubt.
There's no games that you can just kind of coast into and say we're going to focus on next week or the week after. You have to get yourself ready, or anybody can beat you.
Well, it's nothing new. This has been this way for many, many years, and Sandusky Bay Conference is well known around the state as a premier, not only in football but all sports.
Yeah, and we take tremendous pride in our sports at Clyde, and as I know a lot of the SBC schools do. So, we're trying to get back on track this week after last week came up a little bit short, but our kids are working hard. I have great kids. I have I feel like I have the best staff in the state of Ohio, and we put in a good week and try to get our kids ready for Port Clinton this week.
Well, I hope Clyde fans, you can make your way to Port Clinton this weekend, or Friday night. But if you can't, we're going to have the game on our sister station, 92.1 The Wolf, WOHF. John Cullen on assignment.
So to speak, right?
Yeah, he always says that.
Yeah.
I'm on assignment. But he's off this week. So Kyle Knight, our good friend who was here for several years, he's kind of our backup guy. So he's really looking forward to it. I called him a couple weeks ago and I asked him, he said, Clyde, Port Clinton? Oh, yeah, mark me down, and
awesome.
And he goes, so he's excited about that. Of course, Mike Martin is a color commentator.
Yeah.
And then we got a new guy this year, Jim Kettner, who Jim has been around the area for many, many years, and I think he enjoys kind of roaming the sidelines.
Absolutely, he does. I talked to him a little bit, and he enjoys it, I think.
Yep. Jim, just smile a little bit more. So,
Yeah, exactly.
He's got his game face on all the time.
Always.
All right, very good. All right, Coach Ryan Carter, thank you very much. We're going to have 4 captains come, right?
Yep, absolutely.
One at a time, and we'll talk to them a little bit, and we'll continue with our Clyde Flyers night. We'll take a break right now. We'll be back after this to the Fremont Frickers on Eagle 99. Back to the Fremont Frickers on steak night. So Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, they have different specials. And I think tonight's steak night, so come out and enjoy. They're open late. It's Clyde Fliers night, and we always enjoy having the Clyde Fliers over here. And we're going to have 4 players here with us, one at a time. And the 4 captains, we'll start with Blake Hershey. Blake, you are a senior, and you know, hard to believe that the season will be half over after Friday night, huh? The regular season.
Yeah, it's hard to believe. I feel like just yesterday we were starting 2-a-days, and it's my senior year, you know, and just time flies.
Well, you had victories over Bellevue, start and wait to begin the season, and you know, you play a team that is very well known around Ohio in Youngstown Cardinal Mooney, and very tight game. You know, fourth quarter down by just 2, and couple things here or there, and you could have won that game. But was it a good experience, even though you lost?
Yeah, I think it was very cool playing at Ashland, definitely, and getting that experience. And it was a good setting ground to tell us where we were at. You know, I mean, we had 3 games before that, and to prove ourselves, and I think we did. And we went in there and we tried proving ourselves, and we played hard the whole game, all 4 quarters, and you know, they just came out on top. Some things go here and there our way, and I think we're on top there. But that was a great experience.
All right, very good. Now it's into the always tough Sandusky Bay Conference at Port Clinton. You know, there's no easy games in the Sandusky Bay Conference, no matter who you play. And here's a team that, you know, 2-2, but you know, they played 2 really, really good teams the last 2 weeks. So Carver and Liberty Benton, you know, they're always very tough, but can't really go on those scores because they're going to play at home, and you know, it's a big challenge for you.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a hard environment to play over there. You know, we've never played good traditionally in the past ever, so I think we have a chance to change that this year and go and prove ourselves again.
Okay, senior captain on this team. You play offense, defense, and special teams, or just one of those?
I play offense and defense.
Okay.
I play defensive end, and then I play also center and guard on offense.
Very good.
I rotate through both of them.
All right, so good, yeah. Back, you know, 100 years ago when I played, I was a center too. So, you know, center's got to be tough because you got to do 3-4 things, not just block. You know,
and the most important thing is getting the snap off first and not thinking too much about it.
Right. It was a little different now. Do you guys use the behind the center, or you snap it back? Or
you know, we got different formations where we come in, it can be under center, or it'll be shotgun snap. So it just depends on what we're feeling, you know.
And you say you play guard also?
Yeah, I play guard. Actually, our right guard just went down with an injury Friday, so I'm going to be getting a lot more reps at guard and picking up there.
And what's the most fun thing about playing defensive end?
Definitely getting the pressure and getting the sacks, I think, and causing havoc in the backfield. I think that's the best thing. And setting your guys up to make plays. I love doing that, setting my Sam backers up and they make plays, and I always feel like I'm included with it.
Well, you know, every position's important, but defensive end, you know, again, causing havoc. You got to disrupt the play that they're running, right?
Yeah, they could be pulling at you. You got to knock that puller off his course, or you got to keep your contained so that your tackles or linebackers can come in and make a play.
And you're one of how many seniors on the team? About
10.
10 seniors.
We have 10 seniors.
You guys, I'm sure, very close because you've been playing together for at least 6 years, right?
Yeah, it's weird because in 5th grade I felt like we had 60, 70 kids out, and then now here we are, senior year, and we got 10 kids.
Well, that happens. You know, any school, you're going to start out like, you know, 5th, 6th, 7th grade, and there's going to be a lot, and then every year there's fewer because, you know, you may think, well, maybe I'm not going to be a big star, and you know, I'll step aside and all that kind of stuff. But the ones that stick it out, you know, to the seniors, kind of reap all the benefits and all the fun, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, all right, Blake. Well, thanks very much for stopping by. We're going to talk to 3 other teammates. If you want to grab one other guy,
yes, sir.
Then we'll have our second guy. So, hey, best of luck on Friday night, and see if you can knock off Port Clinton.
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay. Very good. Thanks, Blake.
Thank you.
All right. So Blake Hershey, and we'll get another player in here, as it's a Clyde Flyer night, and we do this every year. So here comes another player. We'll have to have him sit right there and get those headphones on, and you know, you got a lot of pressure because Blake did a great job on the air there. Yeah, very good. What's your name, young man?
Colbin Daniel.
Okay. What's your first name?
Colbin.
Colbin. Okay. All right. So are you a senior captain too?
Yeah.
All right, very good. You play offense, defense, special teams, or all three, or just two? Or
I play offense and defense and PAT, so some special teams.
okay, you look pretty big guys. So what do you play on offense?
I play left tackle.
Left tackle, important position. This guy right here played for Norwalk St. Paul years ago, and you played some offense, defensive line, right? Yeah, very good. So, you know, and I'm an old lineman from long time ago. So that's where it all begins, right? That's where, you know, you got to start with the line and get the holes open for the running backs and, you know, block for passing and all that. So who's some other guys on the line? I know Blake's one of them, but how about a couple more?
My other friend, Evan Criswell, he's my left guard. And then we have Blake as right guard. And then Brady Dukeshire as right tackle. And then we have Minch as our center. Jaden Minch as our center.
And you play tight end. I mean, you have a tight end offense, or
We have a bump guy, Garrett Hartshorn. So
Okay.
he's our.
all right, very good. I asked the same question I asked Blake. You know, won your first 3 games, and it was experience playing, you know, a powerhouse, a team that is well known around Ohio, Youngstown Cardinal Mooney. You know, you hear that name a lot. But great experience at Ashland, even though he came up a little bit short. You know, it was very close in that fourth quarter. Came up a little bit short, but still a good experience.
Yeah, it was a really good experience. I played the whole game. I never came out besides special teams for
There you go.
kickoff. So
Very good. And you played in big stadium, you know, where Ashland University plays and all that. So that was kind of a neat thing too. I think the game was originally scheduled for Youngstown, but then some negotiations and say, hey, let's meet halfway, and Ashland agreed to host. So that was kind of a neat thing. So a lot of fans come down.
Oh yeah, there's a lot. It was a really cool experience. I thought there was a lot of good vibes, and
Yeah.
you could feel the energy coming from the fans and everything else.
Sure, helped you out for sure. So, and then looking forward to Friday night into Sandusky Bay Conference action with Port Clinton. You know, Port Clinton 2-2, lost a couple tough ones the last few weeks to very good teams in Oak Harbor and Liberty Benton, but never an easy place to play over there.
Yeah. The last time I remember playing at Port Clinton was probably 8th grade year. I think that was the last time I've ever played there.
Yeah.
Or played them.
Yeah, it's a tough place to play, as is every really stadium in the Sandusky Bay Conference. You know, we've been bragging up the conference and one of the best in Ohio for divisions, you know, especially 3, 4, 5. And so even though the loss, have you guys had a good week of practice getting ready?
Yeah, I feel like we're trying to get a comeback week, and we're gonna fight until we do. And
Yeah.
I feel like we had a really good week of practice and really productive.
Yeah, you got to get it going because after that you got 2 really good teams in Perkins and Columbian. You know, Sandusky's always good, Huron, Norwalk. So, you know, no easy games. You don't want any easy games. You want to have competitive games now.
Yeah, the competitive games are way more fun to play, and
Yeah.
just to be able to go out there and play against everybody you played against your whole entire life.
All right, so 4 down, 6 to go. So very good. So thank you very much for joining us. If you want to grab another teammate, we'll go to number 3. Thanks for joining us here. Thank you. Okay, we'll wait for another Clyde player here to come into the game room. We're in the game room for the second year. And we thank Frickers for setting us up in here. So we'll get our 3rd out of 4 players here. All right, so let's get your name, young man.
Clark Norman.
Hey, Clark, how you doing?
Good,
John
how are you?
Kearns? Yeah, very good. Are you a senior or a junior?
I'm a senior.
You're a senior too. So one of the captains on this team. What's the experience like being a captain? You know, a big squad, and you know, I think there's 10 seniors on the team, and to be one of 4 captains, you know, the leaders out there. Are you guys almost like assistant coaches on the field? A little bit?
we make sure we keep like the energy up at practices and games. Make sure everybody's ready.
Right, it's not easy too, you know, and kind of you know, teach and show maybe some of the younger players. You know, what's right and what's wrong and all that kind of stuff, right? So, you know, going back, winning your first 3 games, I asked the other 2 guys about the experience last Friday. Now, you'd love to have that W, you know, down at Ashland, but still a good experience nonetheless, right?
Yeah, it was definitely a tough game. Definitely left a bad taste in our stomach that we don't want to feel again. So it'll help push us to keep getting some more wins.
No, it's a good way to get ready for the Sandusky Bay Conference, all Sandusky Bay Conference games for the rest, maybe not all division games, but you got a tough row. You got Port Clinton, Perkins, Columbian, Sandusky, Huron, and Norwalk right in a row here to end the regular season. So it all starts Friday night at Port Clinton. What have you what do you know about the Redskins? Just from practicing this week. Here it is Wednesday.
They have some good size on the line. They definitely have some athletes that can get it done, and we're just trying to stop them.
Yeah, very good. And do they like to throw the ball? Is what you know?
Not very much. They're more of a
running
heavy
team.
Yeah.
Okay. And what positions you play on the squad?
I play running back and middle linebacker.
Okay, that's good. Yeah. So, how have you done on rushing this year?
Pretty good. Had a good game last Friday.
That's good. Yeah. So, do you start then at middle linebacker also?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. So you're on the field quite a bit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know you love to carry the ball, score touchdowns, whatever, but it's still fun to play defense too, right?
Yeah. To stop that from happening.
Yeah, especially linebacker position, and there's you know what it feels like to get tackled when you're the tackler and all that stuff. So, but big game coming up against Port Clinton on Friday night. Coaches, I'm sure, got you all ready, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's their job, so get you ready for the game at Port Clinton. So you'll be back home the next week against Perkins, but not really thinking about that yet. Some really outstanding teams again this year in the SPC. So, well, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. We got one more guy. Who's the last guy that's waiting?
Chancey Miracle.
Chancey. Okay, very good. Nice to meet you, and thanks for stopping by. Take care. All right, we're good. So we'll get Chancey in here. And he'll be our last Clyde football player to be interviewed here on Clyde Flyer Night. One of our favorite times with the coaches show, for sure. And last but not least, right?
Yep.
Very good. Chancey Miracle is our guest right now. One of the four captains. Are you a junior or senior?
I'm a senior.
You're a senior. So
Yes, sir.
all four captains are seniors.
Yep.
Okay. And one of your teammates said there's 10 seniors on the team.
Yeah, not a lot of us.
Yep. But you guys have stuck together for, 6, 7, 8 years, ever since maybe 5th or 6th grade, right?
Yeah, before that, we had inner city flag football. We're all on each other's
Before
team
that.
for that. So
There you go.
that's 10 years or something like that. So
Yeah. So, the senior captain's very important, to teach and show some of the younger players. And because coaches can't come out on the field and, be in the huddle and all that. So sometimes you guys kind of have to get in there and get things going on the field with the coaches not there, right?
yeah, and I feel like we do a good job at that. I feel like when there's something that needs to be said, it's always one of us are saying something. Me personally, I feel like I bring a lot of energy. I like to do that, and I also like to have them little talks where you take a dude off and set them straight or something if or someone needs to be talked to. I feel like that's my place to do that, and it's been going well for all of us.
Yep, that's the role of a captain and being a senior. So what are your positions on the team?
I just play. I share running back snaps with Clark.
Yep.
I just mostly play running back. Haven't played a lot. I used to be a defensive guy all the way up, but we just got some guys that could fill that role for me, and I feel like I've been doing well with what I've been, my job.
Okay, last week, tough loss to Cardinal Mooney on the road. Asked the other guys the experience, even though it came up a little bit short, the experience playing big in front of a big crowd at Ashland University.
Yeah, it was nice. It was the luxury of it being in the that nice home locker room. It was, it was a cool experience. I wish that game would have came out would have made the experience a little bit better if we came out on top. But I feel like we still went in there and battled, played a fun, hard football game, and that kind of made up for it.
Sure. Some learning experience too. Now you got SBC, and you have to concentrate on the first one. That's Port Clinton on the road on Friday.
Yeah. I have respect for every team that we play, and I like to approach every single team with that same respect. I don't, because that's when stuff goes wrong, is when you start sleeping on these guys, because everyone's hungry. They're playing football too, is what our coaches say. So any given night, some dudes will come out, and they're always wanting to punch you like that. So.
All right. Well, best of luck. Out of time for Clyde Flyer Night, but we appreciate all four of you guys coming in and talking. Chancey Miracle, thanks very much.
Yeah,
best of luck, not only against Port Clinton the rest of the season, and hopefully we'll talk to you again soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, real good. That's Clyde Flyers Night, and that wraps it up. And thanks to all the players, and thanks to Coach Ryan Carter for being here as well. We're going to take a break, and we got one more segment, and we'll talk Fremont Ross football up next. We'll do that after the break here on Eagle 99 WFRO. Okay, welcome back. John Kearns in here at the Fremont Frickers, our last segment coming up. And we're going to talk Fremont Ross Little Giant football with Coach Chad Long. Nice to see you, Coach.
Hey, it's been a long time. It's great to be here. Thanks.
Yep, John Kearns filling in for John Cullen this week. Tim Bull will be back with us next week, and then John in 2 weeks. But Chad, the 2023 Little Giants, have some work to do, some growing pains.
Absolutely.
Played tough schools, Columbian and Sandusky and Perrysburg and Whitmer, and doesn't get any easier this week. But, you want to have the tough competition, I'm sure, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's no different than what we normally have to play against. It's just now we're dealing with kids that are not 4-year starters, and, they got to step up and play, and, it's tough. It's tough. The first 5 games are really, really tough, and then we get back into our comfort of playing in our division in NLL. So.
Right, and that's the Cardinal division, right?
Yes.
So
yeah.
there's
I don't know why they call it the Cardinal division.
Yeah,
I don't know.
but well, the Buckeye and the Cardinal divisions. But any event, play Findlay this week out of the division. Then you'll have Napoleon, Clay, Southview, Bowling Green. Then throw Wade in there as well. But let's recap the Whitmer game. I happened to be there, didn't get to take in every play, but we talked off air that you didn't give up that many yards to a talented Whitmer team, really.
No, I was actually really surprised how well we played defensively against Whitmer, knowing that they're a big physical team. I really thought our front 7 did an excellent job establishing and stopping the run of Whitmer's, and with the polling that they do, and they'll poll 2-3 guys. I thought our guys did an excellent job. I think our defensive coaches did an excellent job. We really knew a lot of what they were going to do, and in the past they would be we would know the same, but they were bigger and stronger, and more credit to the guys, the defensive line guys. They held their ground, and we made plays when we needed to. Defense played well. They gave up 207 total yards of offense which Whitmer had that we gave up. It's just field position and turnovers is what's been our Achilles heel in the 3 games that we've lost. And you're never going to win games if you have 3 to 5 turnovers. You're not going to win them, and not against good teams. And that's exactly what's happening to us right now.
And give up a couple big plays, which always hurt, but those can be maybe corrected.
Yeah.
Maybe a missed assignment or something. Those can be corrected, and just moving forward to make those corrections and no turnovers, and then things will fall in place for you. Right?
Well, look how we played against Sandusky. We had no turnovers, and we played really good Fremont football, and we had a great defensive game plan, and offensively they did enough to win that game. But the no turnovers, winning the field position was key in that game. If we can do that, we're a pretty good team. But we can't have turnovers, and we got to win the field position.
Well, you have to prove it all this week because, Findlay is always good, big school. They normally always have a good team. But what makes this year's team, Findlay, extra special, I guess?
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say extra special, but they're special because of the quarterback. Montgomery kid, he's a 4-star athlete that has every offer you could possibly have. That is their whole offense, and it's all predicated off of him. They're going to go empty. They're going to throw the ball around. I think he had almost 600-yard pass game in one of his games already this year. Obviously we know that they're going to pass the ball. And so it's on our secondary to be able to confuse and not let any big plays happen, and it's on our defensive line to get pressure on them. The best defense you can have is an offense that can keep that offense of Findlay's off the field. Yeah. So that is our game plan going into this game, is to run the clock down as much as we can, get first downs, keep our offense on the field. That allows our defense, to sit back and wait for our opportunities, but hopefully we can establish and continue establishing the run game.
Your defense from week 1, first 4 games, see some improvement in what areas?
Well, obviously secondary right now, not giving up the big plays like we did against Tiffin with broken coverages. I would say our defensive line did not have a good game against Tiffin Columbian, and since then, the last 3 games they played really, really well with the physicality of the big offensive linemen that we have seen out of the last 3 schools. They have held their own, and plus they did better, So there's improvement on the defensive side. We can continue to have more turnovers. I think we only have 6 turnovers this year on the defensive side, and that's low numbers for us because we're usually creating at least 3 to 4 turnovers a game. So we got to do better in that regards on the defense.
About your offense, a few words about your offense in the first 4 games.
It's been a slow struggle, to say the least. We can't establish. The only time we established a run game was the first quarter of the Tiffin game and then the Sandusky game. We kind of shoot ourselves in the foot. We'll be moving the ball, and then next thing you know, it's 1st and 15 or 2nd and 15 because we get a penalty. And we got the players, we got the quarterback. It's just we got to put it all together, and that is yet to happen. So
talk about special teams, and not only your place kicker and your punter, but your holder, long snapper, and even the return guys.
Yeah, actually, Jadrian Brown returned a kickoff return for a touchdown against Sandusky, but it got called back. Owen Shanahan and Jadrian Brown are handling the punt return, and I think they're averaging probably about 20 yards every time. And the biggest thing is they're fair catching the ones they can't return, so we're not giving up an extra 10, 15 yards on the roll. Sure. I think Steven Ryder's doing an excellent job place kicking extra points He's 0-1 for field goal attempts, but he's doing an excellent job for sure kicking. Came from soccer over to the football this year full time and doing a great job. Bryce Eastep is doing our kickoffs, and he's doing an excellent job kicking off. He is a soccer player full time and comes to us, during the week and on Fridays to kick for us. Even though he did not kick this last week, Stephen Ryder did, and he did an excellent job. Talon Brown is our snapper for all our long and short snaps, and he snapped all last year, and he's doing an excellent job. We're using Cade Reinick as our punter this week. It's different. If I had to say a special team, everyone knows punt is the team that we got to get better at. Yeah. We've had everything from black punts to shanks to drops to everything. That is a huge emphasis. We have practiced punt every day this week, and that is our emphasis. And we actually always put emphasis on punt because we had a punt blocked and a snap over the head, a punt block week 1, punt block week 2, punt block week 3, and 2 drop balls and week 4. So
And it all goes back to field position, right?
Without a doubt.
Which is a big factor in any football game,
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah, absolutely. We pride ourselves on special teams, and I believe our special teams are the best it's been with the depth that we have as players. But, punt team is where we're lacking at the moment. But I assume we're going to get it fixed right now with Cade Reinick punting away.
Huge difference between a team starting at the 15 or 20 rather than the 45 or 50, right?
Yeah,
I mean, obviously, but
yeah. It's if I had to say the average, most teams are starting on our side of the 45, and you're not going to win games doing that.
No.
So that's something we got to improve on.
All right, so Findlay, it all starts here on Friday night. We talked about the Findlay offense. Just a few words maybe about their defense.
Yeah, their defense, they're a 3-3 stack, kind of like a 3-5. They'll walk up outsides from time to time. Their inside linebackers are very downhill aggressive, and they're very good. So for us to be able to establish our running game, we need our guards and our tackles to pick up the inside linebackers. And they fly around in the secondary, so they do create quite a few turnovers due to pressure up front. So we gotta be able to block everyone that comes. They delay blitz a lot, so we got to be able to pick that up. We got to be able to establish a run game, but it's going to be hard knowing that they got 2 really good inside linebackers.
All right, very good. Chad Long, we're out of time. Thank you very much for stopping by. Best of luck on Friday night. If you can't make the game, Tim Boulware and John Cahill and Scott Logan, 3 famous names around Fremont, are going to call the game for you if you can't make it. Pregame at 6:30 and the kickoff at 7. Thanks, Chad.
Hey, thank you. Go Giants.
Okay, very good.
Thanks.
Take care.
Yep.
All right, that's our show for tonight. Thanks again, Coach. And we heard tonight from Josh Waring from St. Joe Central Catholic. We had Clyde Flyer night with Ryan Carter and 4 of his senior captains, and then Chad Long, the Fremont Ross head football coach. Next week, Tim Boulware will be here, and I believe Scott Logan. Next week will be St. Joe Central Catholic night, so they'll have in half an hour. We'll also have a few more coaches, including Coach Long here. And then 2 weeks, we'll have Gibsonburg night, and I think John Cullen is scheduled for that. Thanks to my video guy and producer, Nick Roth. And thanks to Shelby back at the stadium. John Kern saying so long for right now. We'll talk